Hey, what's poppin'? This your boy Jay the Comedian. How y'all doing today? How am I doing? I am in need of expressing and getting some things off my chest as far as like the current situation and things that's going on across the world. Actually, it's happening mostly in America as far as like the protests and things like that that's going around. But what I'm gonna talk to you guys today about is like basically what's going on around the entire world. So. My thoughts basically on what's going on, because I see a lot of stuff that's coming in and out of the news. It's usually mostly the stuff we hear all the time, but I never really hear the truth as to what's really going on. So today I wanted to my attempt to try to articulate exactly what's going on as far as race relations in America, and from my standpoint as far as like everything that goes on. So let's start off with the murder itself. Like, okay, so the murder that happened, as far as George Floyd, it was pretty obvious, clear cut that he was killed. I really don't care what the autopsy result says. It says that he died from a pre-existing condition. It doesn't matter, because if somebody commits a crime and somebody dies during the committing of that crime, it's a murder no matter what. If I were to punch somebody in the head and they had an underlying condition that caused them to have some type of brain aneurysm or something like that and they were to perish, I would go to jail for murder. So it doesn't matter if he had underlying conditions. If you step outside of the training of a police officer and you put your entire body weight on somebody's neck and it causes them to die eventually, that's on you. You should be charged with the murder of this person. Now, as far as race relations in the world, a lot of people say, he was racist and he killed them because he hated black people. I don't think that's true. A lot of people say, like, there are racists in the world and the world is so bad because of the racists. I don't think that is true. I believe that there are people in the world who are racist, but the majority of people in the world are not like that and don't feel that way. But what does happen and what I do see going on, and the biggest problem as far as like what happens in America, is basically the lack of wealth and the lack of money inside of black and brown communities across the country. Because basically, you could take the most docile creature in the planet, right? Like a bunny rabbit, right? They don't fight. They've been blessed with the ability to run away real good because they don't want no smoke from nobody. But if you take a group of bunnies and you put them in a small enclosure and you give them very, very little resources, they will kill, fight, bite, and destroy each other to get to those resources. That's why it's so bad and messed up inside of the black community, because that's what it's like in black and brown communities. It's a bunch of people fighting over very, very little resources, and them raising generation after generation. And after a certain point, like, not even because of racism, it's just straight up because they've been taking bad steps. But basically the reason I'm bringing that up is because when you have a community who is not like privy to wealth and money and stuff like that, they usually don't become doctors. They usually don't become lawyers or politicians or hold any position in society of authority for the most part. Now, for somebody to overcome this, they have to be blessed with a skill set that very, very few human beings at a very young age just usually don't have. And that's basically the ability to fight against and go against what everybody else is doing. Because when you're in a poor neighborhood, at least when I was in a very poor neighborhood, I had to watch a bunch of people sell drugs. They were pimping, they was doing a whole bunch of other, just whatever they could to get money, basically, right? So if you got a bunch of people doing any and everything to get money, the people coming up after them, they look at how they are approaching life, and they usually themselves try to emulate what they see. So for you to be at the most impressionable age, and to be at an age where you have the least experience, to be able to make a decision where you ignore the way others in front of you are, making a living, and to have the foresight to go to school and make something out of yourself, and like get money, and like get influence and power. Like it takes a lot, and most young people, white, brown, black, nobody, it don't matter. Most people that age don't have that ability. Like people who have access to wealth, they don't need to have that ability because they see their father who is a lawyer, they see their father who's a police officer or a politician or doctor or something like that, and they can emulate what they see. Even if they don't go that route, they could at least take the steps to get into a position of success. We don't have that. Our role models was like gangbangers and drug dealers for the most part. And we kind of look down on the people who was like approaching life at a position where they would be successful. So the reason all that is said is basically whenever a police officer pulls over or talks to a person of color, for the most part, a lot of people say, they're racist, they hate blacks, or they just, they're scared of them. It's not that. It's not that they're racist. It's not that they're scared of them. It's basically they know there's no repercussions coming if you do something to a black or brown person. Because simply, if you play the odds, there's probably no doctors or lawyers or politicians or anybody who can make you pay for your actions when you're dealing with a black or brown person. They could talk, like some of them may have a gun, some of them might try to kill you, like maybe that's a fear. But shoot, that's with every race right there. Like more police officers are killed by white people than black people. Like that's a straight up fact right there. Just based off the numbers, just like way more white people in America than black and brown people. So it's not about a fear or a hatred of black people. It's more or less like a lack of respect. It's like there's nothing that you can do to me. If I do something to you, I'm the police officer, I'm the person in power. There's nothing you can do if I decide to slap you up, punch you, break your legs, shoot you, whatever. It's nothing that you can do about it, because I know that you probably come from a long line of people who have no means of protecting themselves. If I punch you in your face right now, you gonna take me to court? We're gonna be in court for a couple years battling? No, I don't think you can afford the lawyer. I don't think you have anybody in your family who's gonna take up the case pro bono, or you're not gonna have any politician that's gonna come in or any judges that's gonna come in and put their foot down and do anything to me. So that gives police the power to, or at least the assumed power to just do whatever they want to you, because what's the repercussions? The only thing they usually got to fear from us is them doing something so bad that it goes viral. So that means, first off, we got to get it on tape. Second off, we got to get it out to the world, and it has to go viral, which isn't easy in itself. And then once all that happened, then maybe they'll get prosecuted or something, and they really have to mess up to even get that far. So, but it's not the same thing when it comes to like European and white people in this country, for the most part, Asian people and things like that, because you don't know when it comes to them. You don't know who's in their family. You don't know what'll happen if you like do something, as far as like if you do something to them. You don't know if it's gonna end up where their cousin is a judge, or their cousin is the chief of police, or or somebody in their immediate family is an officer themselves. You can have real repercussions if you were to mess with somebody who wasn't black, because of the simple fact that's how it goes in America. So we have to look at all of those things and know that's the truth of the matter. Like, that's why everything's going on. But if we really look at why the protests and things like that is happening, that's not even due to racism at all. Like, I would say it's probably about 10% due to like the death of Mr. Floyd. Like, I honestly feel that. I feel that it's mostly due to the fact that we as a nation have been locked up for the last several months. A lot of us have lost our jobs. We're at home, frustrated, mad, and we're at the position now where we want to get outside. And not only do we want to get outside, we're kind of pissed off. So basically, we're all in a position to whereas just the smallest match could set off and cause an inferno, And the death of George Floyd was basically that spark. And when you are a person, especially a person of color who's been fired from your job, right? You've been locked in the house for the past several months. You don't know where your next meal is going to come from. You're outside and you got on your mandatory mask. You have any idea how tempting it is to bust a window and go get your kids some new shoes, or go get your family a new TV, or go grab some food, or it's like so much stuff. Oh, I can grab some stuff and then I can sell it and get some money on the back end. It's so tempting. You know what I mean? Like, most people are decent people, so you don't have to worry about stuff like that. But it is very, very, very tempting to be in that position, to be in, like, without money. You have a ton of free time on your hands. You probably just got fired. You're at home. You're frustrated. And then you see this craziness going on. It's very tempting to get out there and get into the foolishness and the looting that a lot of other people are getting into. So, and at the same time, I mean, like, there were people trying to protest peacefully. But the last time, I remember when Colin Kaepernick tried to protest peacefully, they didn't want that either. So, I mean, if you don't want peace, you're going to get war. You know what I mean? So you got to pick and choose exactly what you want. Because if you want peace, you have to sit down and listen. Even if you don't like the way the message is given to you, even if you don't like what the message is, you still have to listen. Because that's how peaceful protest is done. But if you're going to do it, if you're not going to listen, if you're going to ruin this man's career and try to, like, make an example of him as far as, like, people attempting to use their platform to protest, you are then saying that we don't accept peaceful protests and we don't take it serious. So now you've extra put yourself in a position to whereas people are at a tipping point and a lot of potential problems is on the horizon. So I don't know when this is going to be over. I hope it's over pretty soon, but as of right now, I still see a lot of angry people, a lot of angry families and stuff, and the coronavirus is still here. Like, it's going to be much, much worse now that so many people are all huddled together, and people are saying, like, oh, it must have went away, huh? You don't want to talk about this because you're talking about these. I mean, America's on fire. There's priorities, okay? Like, the coronavirus is still here. People are still getting it. People are still dying from it. It's just right now, the country's on fire. So we're going to kind of keep our attention on that, So don't for a second think that, oh, look, the coronavirus is fake because look how they diverted your attention. They're not diverting your attention. There's a bad thing that happened. And right now, people are raging, and it's causing the entire country at the worst time ever, especially due to the coronavirus. It's just the perfect storm of events to cause a horrible and messed up situation. And currently that's what we're living through. But as long as you keep your head down, I think you'll be fine. Be smart. Don't destroy your cities. Let's all come together. Now, any questions, hit me in the comments. I'm going to be looking at them. Sorry I haven't been making videos. I'm going to try to make more. But more than anything, I want y'all to be safe. I want y'all to be smart. I want y'all to be healthy. And yeah, these are my honest feelings. This is what I believe is honestly going on in the world. And I'm kind of surprised nobody else is talking about it. But anyway, it's your boy JD Comedian. I hope y'all have an amazing day. Holla at your guala. Deuces.